alaikum salam. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Hello and welcome to a new edition of our program, Peace Be Upon You. Happy Ramadan to all our viewers. Stay tuned with us. Short break and we'll be back. Ramadan is the month of the Quran and month of goodness, month of forgiveness from Allah Almighty. It's duty for all Muslims who witness the month to fast, as Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, and as mentioned in the Quran. So we will know about the wisdom behind this obligation of fasting in the coming future.
أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون.
In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate, O you who have believed, decreed upon you is fasting, as it was decreed upon those before you, that you may become righteous.
All praise is due to Allah alone, and prayers and peace of Allah be upon the last prophet, our Prophet Muhammad, and all his family and companions. People's habits vary in receiving the month of Ramadan and investing its times in their preferred works and activities. Some receive it with laziness, unemployment, and negligence to the acts of worship, and some receive it with excessive eating and drinking and exerting the efforts in this aspect as if it were the month of eating and drinking, not the month of fasting. On the other hand, the successful, whom Allah wanted the good for and guided their insight to see what is righteous, distinguishing it from the falsehood, they receive the month of Ramadan with joy, delight, happiness, and gladness, because they see it as an opportunity for forgiving the sins and correcting errors. It is the month of forgiveness, mercy, and freeing oneself from hellfire. The Prophet, prayers and peace of Allah be upon him, used to give glad tidings to his companions for the upcoming of Ramadan by saying, Ramadan has come to you, a blessed month. Allah ordained its fast upon you. The gates of heavens are opened in this month. The gates of hell are closed in it, and the giant devils are chained in it. In it there is a night better than 1,000 months. The one who is deprived from its good is surely deprived.
Assalamualaikum waalaikumsalam.
As Egypt celebrates the holy month of Ramadan, among the iconic Ramadan elements we grew up with is the enchanting voice of Sheikh Muhammad Rifat on radio and television announcing the breaking of fasting and Maghrib prayers. Let's know more about Sheikh Muhammad Rifat, this Ramadan icon.
Assalamualaikum waalaikumsalam.
Sheikh Rifat was famous for his beautiful and powerful voice and his unique recitation style. that enhanced the subliminal meanings of the words. His audience were taken by all emotional experience and fell in tears when listening to the verses of enticement and those of intimidation. Born on the 9th of May 1882 in Darb al-Aghwat al-Mugharbilin district, historic Cairo, he was known for his powerful and excellent tonality that awarded him the titles Al-Kithara, the harp, the divine harp, the angelic voice, the golden voice, the voice from heaven, and one of David's flutes. Sheikh Rifat, after the Second World War had erupted, London and Paris radio stations competed to tape his recitation at the opening of their Arabic broadcast, but he was reluctant to accept until he got permission from Al-Marahi, the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar at the time. His angelic voice comes to our ears and we enter a state of spiritual consciousness when we hear the voice of Sheikh Al-Sayyid Al-Naqshbandi. And as we all know that the family reunion at Ramadan Iftar is not complete without his daily presence in radio, and let's know more in the coming feature about Sheikh Al-Sayyid Al-Naqshbandi.
السلام عليكم وعليكم سلام
رمضان أهلا مرحبا رمضان.
Sheikh Sayyid Al-Naqshbandi is a chronicle of the month of Ramadan, and the ecstasy of the heart is enough for us every time his sweet voice soothes us to realize how much he contributed to enriching the conscious with the sweetest melodies. 120 recorded hours of religious supplications. Khalid's legacy was left by the Imam of Contours despite the shortness of his journey, which spanned about 55 years. His angelic voice comes to our ears and we enter a state of spiritual consciousness, and the family reunion of Ramadan Iftar table is not complete without his daily presence on the radio.
الذكر فيك يا طيب والقرآن بالنور جئت وبالسرور ولم يزل لك في نفوس الصالحين مكان بالنور جئت وبالسرور ولم يزل لك في نفوس الصالحين مكان.
السلام عليكم وعليكم سلام.
Welcome back, dear viewers. Now it's time to answer all your questions that we receive on our Facebook page. Today we have our dear guest, Dr. Hiba Salah. She's a researcher at Egypt's Dar al-Ifta.
السلام عليكم وعليكم سلام.
Welcome back, dear viewers, and now it's time to answer some of your questions that we receive on our Facebook page. And today we have our dear guest, Dr. Hiba Salah. She is a researcher at Egypt's Dar al-Ifta. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, thank you.
So first, tell us more about the wisdom behind fasting.
Okay, first of all, we wish all Muslims worldwide a happy Ramadan and the blessed fasting and accepted fasting as well. The most frequently questions relating to the wisdom behind the fast is really stated in the Quran, in the noble verse in which Allah Almighty informs us that fasting has been prescribed for you believers, the same as it was prescribed for the nations before you, in order to be mindful of Allah, of your Lord, and in order to attain piety. So the wisdom behind the fast in the first place is to attain piety and to be mindful of Allah.
In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate, O you who have believed, decreed upon you is fasting, as it was decreed upon those before you, that you may become righteous.
It's not just refraining from eating or drinking or the intimate relation between the spouses. The wisdom behind this is to train yourself to abstain from the things that Allah made lawful for us, made halal for us. So when you couldn't approach such halal things for a certain number of hours during the day, so now you are training yourself to control your feelings. You have the ability to be more reflecting in order to have more envisions about the surroundings around you. So it is the main wisdom in a nutshell is to attain piety. It's not just a common saying that in order to have the same feeling and feel what the poor can feel, or the hunger that the poor people might feel. This is not the wisdom actually. The wisdom is to have a good personality, to rebuild your personality along the 30 days of the month.
So how do we train children to fast, and at what age they should start?
Actually, this differs from one child to another. And the mother or the father, the parents in general in the family, should take into account that our children differ physically and mentally and emotionally. So as the prayer is prescribed at the 7, to teach our children to pray at the age of 7, we can start by letting them a bit by bit during the day. For example, start with us after Fajr,
yes,
and then after the Dhuhr prayer you can break your fast. If the child is able and physically able, and this will not affect his ability during the day or his studies or something like this, he can continue until Asr. So the things can come gradually until they reach the age of puberty, so we will get used or accustomed to the idea of fasting. As I said earlier, we should take into account the difference in the physical ability, and we should answer their questions during the day. Why we fast? What is the wisdom? Will Allah accept my fast? etc. And by the end of the day, we have to encourage them and let them know about the hadiths or the prophetic traditions that encourage and exhort them to continue this.
So tasting food while cooking, to what extent it affects fasting?
This is one of the most frequent questions
Yes.
from ladies and girls in the kitchen before the iftar. Actually, tasting the food, there is nothing in tasting the food as long as the woman or the one who cooks spit it out immediately without swallowing or
Yes.
without having any thing that goes the throat cavity to the stomach. So should be careful. However, it is more precautious, or have to be precautious not to practice this as long as you are uncertain whether you can control this or not. So this is the condition of tasting the food. There is nothing in it.
Also, we have also this question: what is the ruling on reading from Quran in prayers, especially in Tarawih?
Actually, there is nothing in reading the Quran. It is okay and it is permissible to read from the Mus'haf, the Quran, the copy of the Quran, whether in the obligatory prayers or the nafl or the supererogatory prayers. Lady Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, used to pray while having her servant or someone who helps her around reading from the copy of the Quran. So it is okay to read the copy of the Quran.
And what is the ruling on taking some medications to delay the menstrual cycle in order to benefit from the rewards of good deeds in the holy month?
Yes, this is a very important question because some girls or women think that they want to take the full reward without anything that spoils their spirituality during the month. But let me advise them that taking medications, this is something related to the people of knowledge who are specialized physicians who advise whether it is okay or not for the woman's health. If it imposes health issues for the woman, it becomes prohibited to take this. So this is something that is decided by the specialized physician. Second, it is okay for the woman to take it if it doesn't impose anything, but it is better for her to comply with the command of Allah. So Allah commanded women to refrain from fasting and the prayers during this time because it is classified as a sickness or illness. So she has to comply to the commands of Allah, and she will be rewarded for commanding or complying to the commands of Allah. So this is my advice for every woman who thinks about this issue.
And is it permissible for pregnant and breastfeeding women to break the fast, and how to make up for it if they are able or unable to make it up?
This is the same as the previous question. This is decided by the specialized physician. If refraining from eating and drinking during the fasting day for a long hour will impose any risk or any health issues for the woman or the fetus, her baby, so it is allowed for her to break the fast and make up the next fast later after Ramadan when she is able and after breastfeeding her baby and so on. This is the answer in a nutshell. The issue is to make up the fast after the time of pregnancy or breastfeeding is over.
Also, if we talk about the good deeds, and are there any deeds that a woman can do and give her reward to someone who has died, especially during the holy month of Ramadan?
Yes, sure. Inside Ramadan or in Ramadan and outside Ramadan, every woman and every Muslim in general can make very, very good deeds or many good deeds and dedicate its reward to the deceased. The top of which is reading the Quran and dedicating the reward for the deceased, or paying or giving out charity, feeding the people and dedicating the reward, reading the Quran and many, many rewards, even if to feed small animals on the street and dedicate the reward to the deceased. By the will of Allah, it will reach them.
So fasting is not only abstaining from food and drink, but fasting of tongue and limbs is of a great importance. Can you talk to us more about this matter?
Yes, as we said in the first question, the wisdom behind fasting. So there is a prophetic tradition or a hadith by the Prophet. He says what it means, maybe a fasting person has no reward of his fasting except preventing the food and the drink or feeling hungry or feeling thirsty.
Yes.
This means that fasting is to uplift or to elevate your spirituality to a degree that helps you to refrain from harming people or uttering bad words during the fasting day in order to get out of Ramadan a good person or developing more character or moral character that has helped you go ahead in your life with the prophetic spirituality or the prophetic sunnah of the prophetic morals.
And what about the keenness of some women to perform prayers in a group in mosques, especially the dawn prayer, evening prayer, and tarawih?
There is nothing in this because the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, ordered us not to prevent women and girls from having their prayer in the mosque. Although we are encouraged to go to the mosque, especially and take or accompany our children with us to let them get accustomed or used to the atmosphere of the mosque as it happened during the life of the Prophet in Medina. So there is nothing in this provided women abide by the lawful attire or the prescribed attire for a Muslim woman and never talk in a loud voice or have such chat of worldly matters or something like this. So there is nothing in it at all.
And we also have this question, what is the ruling on reading from Quran and touching it during the menstrual period?
There is a scholarly difference about this issue, but it is better for her to refrain from touching the Noble Quran, but it is allowed to read from the memory, okay, if she is memorizing the Quran and she feels that her period stays for a long days and she might forget what she is memorizing, so it is allowed for her to read the Quran from the memory or to hold the Quran with a barrier or a glove or something like this. But it is better we have everyone in today's life having a smartphone or a smart device, so we can read from our smartphones without touching the Quran itself or the book itself.
High, you spread my wings and fly me to the sky. I feel so alive, it's like my soul thrives in your light. But how I wish you'd be here with me all year around. Ramadan, 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 ya
Thank you, Dr. Hiba Salah, researcher at Egypt's Dar al-Ifta. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you. It's my honor being with you today. Thank you.
And by that, dear viewers, we come to the end of today's edition of our program. Peace be upon you. Thank you for watching.
رمضان 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 يا حبيب رمضان رمضان ليتك دوما قريب رمضان 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 يا حبيب رمضان رمضان ليتك دوما